Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasising efforts made to improve relations with China since ties began to fray after deadly skirmish on the Himalayan border in 2020. Those ties have been on the mend since the deal was reached last year to lower tensions. In a wide-ranging interview with American podcaster Lex Fridman, Mr. Modi noted that returning ties to what they had been before 2020 will take time, but will happen. He stressed that competition between India and China should be healthy and not turn into a conflict, calling the 21st century, quote, Asia's century. Multiple U.S. administrations have turned to India as an alternative to China, but New Delhi is among the trading partners set to face U.S. tariffs that take effect on the 2nd of April, which are widely expected to hit sectors from automobiles to agriculture. The Modi administration has been working to appease the White House, promising lower levies and more purchasing of American goods. Mr. Modi also using the podcast interview to stress how aligned he is with the American president, given that both leaders are clear in putting their nations first. Mr. Modi also said he saw Mr. Trump being far more prepared in his second term in office, with a clear roadmap to reaching his goals. And for more, Ishan Garg joins us live from New Delhi. Ishan, the Prime Minister's comments on China since that deal in October 2024 to ease tensions on the border, do you see these comments from Mr. Modi as suggesting that even better ties will lie ahead?
Certainly, that seems to be the suggestion, because we have not heard from Prime Minister Narendra Modi directly talking about India-China ties. And on the very few occasions that we have, this is possibly the first time he has struck such a conciliatory note, saying that India and China ties they should not just be viewed in the equation of two nations competing against each other in the Asia region, but they should be seen as civilizations that have for thousands of years had a very close and often amicable relationship. And he's also in many ways downplayed the issue that India and China have, which is the border dispute along the thousands of kilometers long border between India and China. He did mention the 2020 Galwan Valley clash when Indian and Chinese soldiers fought against each other, but he called it a border dispute. And he said that we are working towards resolving the situation to an extent that India and China go back to the pre-2020 situation, which is an indication that India and China are not looking, at least immediately, to resolve the border dispute completely, but at least go back to a situation where the two armies are not in an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, and that there is some semblance of normalcy in the relationship as well. At the same time, it's also worth noting that Global Times, which is often seen by many as a Chinese government mouthpiece, has come out with a report saying that this interview by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is actually in line with what China thinks as well. So this is certainly a sign that India-China ties could be on the mend.
Ishan, it's not just rare that for Mr. Modi to come and comment publicly on China, to give interviews at all, let alone such a lengthy one. That's unusual for Mr. Modi. So not just looking at ties with China, lots of attention on what this might signal for India's ties with the United States.
Certainly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was all praise for President Donald Trump, and he made it a point to say that President Trump is a Make in America guy and Prime Minister Modi himself is a Make in India guy, and he doesn't see this point as a point of divergence, but actually as a strength between India and United States relationship. And he said that he finds a very close and comfortable bond with President Donald Trump, and there is an expectation that in this second term of President Donald Trump, Prime Minister Modi would like to leverage on this close personal relationship to hopefully gain things that are in India's favor. There's a lot of conversation about whether this relationship will actually result in India getting exempt or getting some sort of insulation from the tariffs that are about to hit the Indian economy from April 2nd. But it might be too early to say if this is going to lead in that direction, because in the past few weeks, we have seen Indian officials, particularly India's Minister of Commerce, Mr. Piyush Goyal, engaging in conversations with US officials and with Indian industries as well in a move that looks like is aimed at softening the blow of US tariffs. But this relationship between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, how that could define India-US ties in the next few years will be crucial to be seen. But at the same time, Mr. Modi's podcast with Lex Fridman is also facing some opposition from the political parties here in India who say that Mr. Modi hasn't given a wide-ranging conversation or an interview to an Indian TV network since the election, but he's happy to participate in a podcast with a Western podcaster. The Indian government has yet to comment on these allegations by the opposition.
Thanks, that Ishan Garg reporting live there from Delhi on Narendra Modi speaking to American podcaster Lex Fridman.